upset of the ACC calendar, a classic battle between the Hokies and Wolfpack. Asia Shepherd and Virginia Tech appeared to be in control, but wins don't come easy over top 10 teams and players like Elisa Canane. The Wolfpack pull away late in Raleigh. We run it back tonight in Blacksburg. Orange effect inside Cassell Coliseum tonight as Virginia Tech welcomes number 7 NC State, and we say hello once again, everybody. John Laser alongside Mac McCarthy. Mac, it was a great battle the first time. We expect the same tonight. Kenny Brooks and the Hokies feel like they've taken a step forward. They'd like to prove that fact this evening.
Yeah, this should be a good one. NC State comes in here. Westmore brings his 7th squad in here. This is his best team in 7 years. They've gone to 2 Sweet 16s. They're 21-1. Only one slip up. Probably the deepest team in the ACC. And the Hokies on the other end with Kenny Brooks, they've won 16 in a row at home, 8 ACC games.
NC State got the best of the Hokies back in early January at Reynolds Coliseum. They did so by playing the down-low game. Elisa Canane got the best of her good friend Elizabeth Kitley. That'll be the matchup again tonight.
Yeah, Canane has been so good. As a freshman, she averaged 13 and 6. As a sophomore, she's bigger and stronger, averaging 17 and over 10, and she might be the best player in the ACC. Can do a little bit of everything, including step out and shoot the 3 at a high rate.
And like Canane, the freshman for Virginia Tech, tail end of the ACC season, she's gotten better and better and better.
They're very similar players, and Elizabeth Kitley has done great as a freshman, also averaging 11 and 7, the 4th best rebounder in the league, one of the best shot blockers in the league. And she and her friend Canane went head-to-head in that battle in Raleigh. They're going to do it again here tonight, and we're going to get to watch it.
And they are fired up here in Virginia Tech, trying to take a step forward in terms of perception and also a big mark on their NCAA resume. There is Canane and Kitley were set for basketball as Kitley wins the opening tap. And we are underway with the Hokies along with their fan base, clad entirely in orange here this evening.
Kitley and Canane not only are good friends, but played together in the AAU circuit against each other in high school.
It is Kitley trying to involve Rivers. Saves the possession for Virginia Tech. Now deep shot clock. Just trying to create is Taj Cole, and she does just that.
She is really difficult. Westmore's big concerns is staying in front of Taj Cole.
Now you see the North Carolina State starting 5. It has been status quo for the 23rd consecutive game now. Continuity, a key to success. This group certainly knows each other quite well. Mabry D'ing up Crutchfield. Deep shot clock. Canane can't get it from 20, but an offensive rebound and step back from Brown Turner.
Yeah, Jakia Brown Turner, an outstanding freshman at McDonald's All-American in offensive glass, is one place that NC State might have an advantage against Virginia Tech.
Kitley in early game 3, a bit of a surprise. A one-and-done trip for Virginia Tech. This Wolfpack team, one of the finest rebounding teams in the country. Nearly a plus 11 on the glass on a nightly basis.
Yeah, they don't foul, and they rebound the heck out of the basketball. That's a pretty good formula.
Kitley denies her friend Canane.
We're going to see that time and time again on both ends, John.
Taj Cole pushing the issue. Rivers drops it off for Kitley. Wolfpack come running out once again. No second chance for the Hokies.
While both teams like to go down inside, these are the best 2 3-point shooting teams in the ACC.
Off the ball screen, Crutchfield. Second offensive rebound, and again Kitley equal to the task.
She doesn't express much emotion, but you know she felt good with that block.
Kitley, one of the big reasons why Virginia Tech averages 5 blocks per contest. East Koenig inbounding for the pack. By runs into Kitley, and Kitley was a half a beat late.
And this is one thing that we'll need to watch, Lays. Foul trouble for either team. NC State can withstand some. They're pretty deep. Virginia Tech cannot. They've got to keep those first 6 players on the floor a big number of minutes tonight.
Shots coming. A long shooter's roll for Brown. Percent foul shooter, poorest statistically amongst the pack starting 5. NC State leads for the first time. And Virginia Tech had built the lead in the second half down at Reynolds Coliseum. Succumbed to the more experienced Wolfpack and the environment, which is a frenetic one down in Raleigh. Down to Kitley. Excellent defense the other way from Canane. Post again, this time for Kayla Jones. The other big matchup, Jones and Lydia Rivers.
Rivers the best defender.
There's Cole busted up the ball screen. Koenig gets off of 3, thought she had it. Rivers does have it.
Ace Koenig, a 4 in the ACC and 3-point percentage. Just an outstanding player.
Shepard drops it off again for Kitley. Had success in the first possession, but has stagnated since.
A little jump shot right there, something she's pretty good at.
Koenig cut off by Mabry.
Virginia Tech's been really good at home defensively the last several games.
Mabry a little upset there with that call. Felt like she had been pushed to the ground. And take another look at it. And fight through this ball screen. Incidental contact. Feet got tangled there, Coach. But Mabry is a player that the Hokies know as miscommunication and an unforced error from the Wolfpack. Mabry's a player that Virginia Tech needs to step up in games just like that because she's good enough to.
No question. 2 and 3 and 4 3-pointers in a row. But she's also a good leader on the floor.
Pinned down for Shepard,
who had a great game against NC State last time with 28 points.
Shepard was the catalyst for the Hokies. In the first meeting, we mentioned the 28 poured in by Canane. Tech back on top. Quick trigger the other way, and that is a 3 from Koenig.
Yeah, a little hesitation right there on the switch. Rivers gave her just a little space, and she doesn't need much. The senior out of British Columbia.
She's been around a while. Her name, Aislinn. She's been in the ACC long enough. Everyone refers to her as Ace. Shepard with the heat check. These teams will not be bashful to put it up from outside. Driving into the lane and scoring is Crutchfield. You can see, Mac, just the diversification of the offense from NC State. They can hurt you in a lot of ways as Cole will try to hurt the pack at the line. Kenny Brooks not shying away from the opportunity before his team. He said, do you want the cliche answer or do you want the real answer? Look at what he's done here. 3 consecutive 20-win seasons, but he doesn't shy away from saying, Mac, there are tiers in basketball, and in order to ascend from one to another, you have to beat the teams that are there, and NC State certainly qualifies.
No question. Virginia Tech right on that border. They've been, like you said, to 3 straight WNITs, winning 20 games a year, but getting over the hump, playing better in league play this year, and they've got to beat some of the top teams in the league.
And by the way, the cliche answer was it's the most important game because it's the next game. You know that as a coach. You've said that a few times. The real answer was yes. We are relishing the opportunity to have them here in Blacksburg. 3 of the first 4 times, a kicked ball. We'll stay with the Wolfpack. 3 of the first 4 meetings since Kenny Brooks has taken this job and matched up with Wes Moore have occurred at Reynolds Coliseum.
Right. And the other one in the tournament where Virginia Tech did get a win.
Corner three. Koenig not shying away. There's Alex Obofegi, who we'll hear a little more from Bailey Angle in just a moment. Kitley with that early foul. Obofegi and Trinity Baptiste in. Mabry, floater, knew it was off, tracked it down. I got to get out of the tall timber. Cole misfires on the perimeter. Hokies have a second chance, but squander it. Nice rhythm thus far in the opening quarter. Early lead for the Pack. For NC State as Virginia Tech hosting number 7. We've talked a lot about the matchup between Elisa Canane and Elizabeth Kitley, but a depth piece that Kenny Brooks did not have in the first meeting. Alex Obofegi already into the game, Bailey.
Well, you guys have already mentioned the big battle between Canane and Kitley as the highlight of the two bigs to watch out for in this game. But you also have to look out for another big for Virginia Tech, and that's the big of Alex Obofegi. Kenny Brooks spoke so highly of her when we spoke with him yesterday. She said that she has all the necessary tools to be a star for Virginia Tech, just sometimes takes a little bit too much time in processing the game. So his challenge to her tonight is to play.
Thanks, Bailey. And you see Obofegi already on the floor, and that's because Kitley picked up that early foul. Trying to take the charge. Trying to get it down to Canane to operate against Obofegi, but having some trouble doing so as Obofegi overplays that post-entry pass and takes it away for Tech.
It was a great battle. NC State went 4 around 1 that time, and they were going to get the ball to the post, kept interchanging on the perimeter, but Obofegi was up to the task of fronting Canane down low.
Coach Wes Moore said, yeah, in our recruitment, we said we're going to play 4 out, 1 under quite a bit. You're going to get the ball a lot. That's what they were trying to do there, Mac, but just couldn't get it to her. Short shot clock for Tech. Cole, as she did early in the first possession, calls her own number.
As you watch NC State on offense, they'll run some sets, but they'll end up inevitably in 4 around 1.
This time, Obofegi is going to be called for a foul. First against Alex Obofegi. Trying again to deny the post. Mentioning 7th-year head. He has done. Down in Raleigh, a couple years ago, the ACC's Coach of the Year, back-to-back Sweet 16 appearances. And like any coach, he told us, you go to 2 straight Sweet 16s. Everybody wants the Elite 8 and the Final 4 now.
Yeah, and I assure you, they as a team and staff expect to challenge for that.
Another poke away from Obofegi. And Baptiste couldn't decide what angle to attack.
You know, Wes Moore and Kenny Brooks have similar backgrounds. Wes Moore was at Chattanooga for 12 or 13 years, won a bunch of championships. Kenny Brooks the same at JMU, got their chance in the ACC, and they're both building solid programs.
It's interesting to watch that ascension. Coach Moore has about a 3-year head start in the league. Because this time the Wolfpack do get it down to Canane. Positioning is everything. As they say in real estate, Matt. Location, location, location.
And they're going to keep going in there until it's stopped.
Kenny Brooks, though, again, that ascension recognizes that games like this can announce your arrival as a game. Just everything. Brown Turner leads the Pack down floor. Drills it from the elbow.
It's a really nice shot. You see why she was College All-American out of Maryland.
Both apply.
Yeah, they do.
All Maryland and all American. Oh, they like that one in the truck. Corner 3 from Shepard. And Obofegi picks up a quick second. So Kitley's going to have to come back. She was already at the scores table. And she'll check in for Obofegi. And as Kitley comes back, let's look at the eerie similarities between the freshman seasons for Elisa Canane and Kitley. See the scoring a little higher for Canane, but the rebounding and the defensive effort little bit more advanced for Kitley as the Hokies do once again create an empty possession for NC State.
They should both get to play against each other in some significant games over the next couple seasons.
Not the same exact player, but it's amazing. They do a lot of the same things well as Canane cleans up the miss from the top.
I mentioned from the same area of North Carolina. Caleb King,
He's
also on that team.
That's and Cole hits the gas. Couldn't get to the finish line. Tremendous defensive play from Jones. Nearly acrobatically able to save it in bounds. There, Mabry comes sprinting back into the game.
Really nice play out of Jamesville, North Carolina. Kayla Jones.
Riverside High School.
They had a little help on that right there because Coach Moore's wife, Linda, is from Jamesville, North Carolina.
Not to be confused with Janesville, Wisconsin.
No.
Oh, he's foul. This foul is on Jakia Brown-Turner. We really haven't seen much of the bench, if at all, thus far for NC State, Mac. But when they go there, they've got a lot of talent and maybe more importantly, experience behind that man, Coach Moore.
Pretty amazing. A couple, actually 3 ACL tears last year. They had 4, but 3 are back. Erica Cassell, Grace Hunter, Kayla Ely, all 3 were starters. Tell you how good this basketball team is when they can have starters off really good teams not starting right now and coming in as subs.
Erica Cassell is the first reserve. She's on the floor, number 24 in gray there. NC State also bringing in Grace Hunter. And a couple moments rest here in the final minute of this opening quarter.
Grace Hunter could be big for this team. She is starting when she tore her ACL a year ago.
It is Cassell scoring over Kitley.
Cassell out of Marietta, Georgia. Very physical post. She initiates some contact. She's usually at you.
Started the first 23 games a year ago to max point before injury cost her the rest of the year. Wolfpack laying off Cole. Kitley tries to get a little closer. Baptiste keeps the possession alive.
That's really
Shot
big.
clock is off. Can hold for the final shot of the quarter. Final 5. Cole trying to drop it off. Kitley trying to get it off. And both go wanting. NC State, the best of it in the opening quarter here in Blacksburg. Looking for the season sweep of the Hokies. Swarming defense leading NC State to a 5-point lead as we head to the second quarter. 15 from the field in the opening quarter. Take a look at the ACC standings. The Wolfpack readying for a big-time showdown with undefeated Louisville. That's their next outing. They'll have their hands full here tonight before Virginia Tech trying to forge a 4th place, or actually 3rd place tie with Florida State and North Carolina. And of course, that 4-line, Mac, is a line of delineation in the ACC.
Yeah, due to the tournament and all that, and of course it has implications further down the road too. This NC State team and Louisville vying to host games once they get into the postseason.
Defense led the way for the Wolfpack in the opening quarter. Hokies a defensive takeaway to start the second, and a floater from Mabry for her first bucket of the night.
Yeah, so far the offense for Virginia Tech had only been Taj Cole penetrating or Asia Shepherd pulling up for 1-3. Other people have to get involved.
Mabry involved for the first time. Cassell couldn't get the step back. Cole on the fly per usual. Tries to hit the home run to Kitley, and the Hokies
A little bit too late.
Here's getting Mabry involved here.
Yeah, she has to be able to do this because everybody is going to close out on her hard. She's got to be able to shot fake and make that little floater in the lane.
Good recognition from Cole. Opening the lane. One possession game. Koenig working against Taj Cole. A pack of lunch when Taj is on you.
She can get after you and get better and better at that.
Hunter, great depth for the pack.
And when you can bring your leading scorer from a year ago off the bench, you've got things going pretty well.
On to Rivers. Stripped away.
Really good defensive team, NC State.
Wolfpack will operate in the half court. Cassell back to work on Rivers. Out it comes. See NC State a lot of poise, a lot of experience. Not flustered, although the shot clock down to 5. Jones fires away. Kitley beaten for the rebound. Koenig. Tough shot off the side shuffle.
Yeah, Cassell kept that ball alive, and that second shot, that will hurt you really badly.
There's not a lot of players, Mac, that can do that as they're changing their own eye line, moving side to side like that.
No, that's an impressive play.
Whistle away from the ball, and it's a foul against NC State and Erica Cassell.
A rare foul against NC State. They go to the free throw line about 10 more times than their, almost 10 more times than their opponents. They are plus, I think, 140.
Moore has to be pleased right now that he's been able to grow the lead with Elisa Canane on the bench. Canane will return here. Freshman forward Jada Boyd will also enter for the first time. Threw it up for Shepard, and she traveled. That's the shot that play is designed to get. Shepard didn't take it. Really? Kenny Brooks is beside himself.
Yeah, and he would love to have seen her just pull that jump shot.
And see what he was mouthing there. What are you doing? He threw the shoot around.
The defender trailer, and she had room to get the shot off, but she also had room to make the turn also.
Foul against Trinidad. NC State has done a nice job at the moment of taking the crowd out of this game. And of course, this is a Wolfpack team that is no stranger to playing in front of big crowds. Quite an environment that they've fostered down at Reynolds Coliseum.
Yeah, one of the best facilities in the country.
And now Shepard called for the block. And although the optics were Shepard flying to the floor, Mac, we'll look at it like she had established herself.
I think you're right at first blush.
So I think why you didn't see much of a grimace. Wolfpack trying to take the lead to double digits, and they'll do so. Kayla Ely.
Yeah, 2 years ago, she was the starting point guard for a team that went to the Sweet 16, tore her ACL going into the season last year, sat out, and now she's back coming off the bench.
Depth of the Wolfpack has proven to be a problem for Virginia Tech here in the opening half. Baptiste duck through.
She is certainly one of the Hokies who can create her own offense.
Hokies trying to get multiple players involved offensively. Canane now matched by Rivers. And Rivers cleans up the miss.
Rivers is such a good defender.
Shepard is fouled. Shepard a little out of control there, but fortunately foul is assessed on Kayla Ely, Raleigh native out of Needham Broughton High School.
She was out of control, but the defense was at a disadvantage. Nobody was in a legal guarding position, so she did a nice job there of going ahead and taking advantage of that.
The kamikaze play, man.
Yeah.
The betterment of the group.
She doesn't mind putting her body in harm's way.
Pick and pop for Baptiste. Brown Turner rushes down floor for the Pack. Right to the bucket goes Boyd.
Spread, everybody's glued up on those three-point shooters. You still have to stay between your man and the basket. That's what NC State's doing a better job of than Virginia Tech, except maybe when Taj Cole has the ball.
Canane sealed it off on Baptiste. Hunter. And back tapped by Kayla King.
Nice hustle by Kayla King, getting back to knock that away.
Taj Cole and Elizabeth Kitley will return for Virginia Tech. And as they do, Ace Koenig comes back for the Wolfpack. Dara Mabry going to the bench there. It's the one field goal thus far for Mabry. She had just 7 points in the first meeting and rolled her ankle late in that game. NC State pulled away for a 7-point win. Threw it up for Koenig and selfishly outside. Canane can hit that shot but doesn't here.
Yeah, it only takes about one a game. She's already taken 2 here, but she can make it shooting over 40% from out there.
Baptiste circling. And a continuation foul on the screen.
Yeah, that was a post-up foul actually down low on Elizabeth Kitley, pushing off as she tried to get position. That's her second.
And that's a big foul against Kitley. Thought they got Baptiste there, who kind of crashed into a Wolfpack defender as well. Hokies, little signs of desperation on the offensive end. Mac trying to get some space. Another second chance for NC State. Koenig with the blow-by.
These guys did a couple bullets right there. The wide open looks from the Wolfpack.
Wolfpack doing an exceptional job, as is their calling card, of getting back, assembling on D, and completely eliminating transition. Those 2 fouls. Calling for the ball and not getting it. King will take the 3. Hunter leads out the Pack. This defense from NC State, Mac, is elite, and that is certainly something that is well known. Boyd with the step through on Baptiste, and Kenny Brooks forced to take a timeout. NC State had the best of it in the first quarter as well. NC State enjoying its largest lead of this opening half, on top of Virginia Tech at the moment. And a big reason why has been their effort on the glass. Both of these teams upper tier in terms of rebounding per game. NC State the best in the ACC, and they have gotten the best, a +6 already, Mac, on Virginia Tech.
Yeah, and they're plus 10.5, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, among the best in the nation. And that's a really big advantage. They've got 7 second chance points so far to just 2 for Virginia Tech.
They've also held Virginia Tech to just 24% shooting from the field. Shepard, quick trigger 3. Halfway down and spun back out.
Now, Virginia Tech's had some good looks. 1 for 8 now from long.
State hasn't lit it up from outside either, just 2 of 8.
No, but 14 points in the paint, and both centers have 2 fouls apiece. That time they got away with Obofegi missing, trying to knock the ball away.
Transition rhythm 3 from King. Lid still on the bucket. Shepard tracked it down though for Virginia Tech. Hokies do have 4 offensive rebounds. They've scored just 2 second chance points though. Down to Obofegi. Again held off by Canane. And the field goal percentage continues to drop for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, not bad looks in the last several possessions for Virginia Tech, but got to get them in the basket.
This is a long 2. Moot point.
Virginia Tech playing good enough on the defensive end to keep them alive if they can get something going on the offensive end.
And Brooks also trying to manage a little foul trouble. Obofegi, who travels here, has 2 fouls. So does Kitley. As Obofegi will come off, Rivers will come back, and this is about as small as Virginia Tech will play.
Yeah, and they may be looking at this for an extended period of time here.
Trying to not fall too far behind, but also trying to cheat minutes. Those are not two things as a coach, Mac, you like to have to do simultaneously.
They also might double team the post. They were trying to play one-on-one in the post, but now when Cunane has the ball, they will probably come and help on her.
Didn't double there, but did dig down with Taja Cole, and it creates a travel.
Sure did. Wasn't Cunane, it was on the other block, but same principle.
Boyd will come off that turnover, as will Grace Hunter. He's trying to get Mabry off that screen.
Koenig really doing a good job of shadowing Mabry. Can't get away.
Pile up leads to a long jumper by Taj Cole standards. Riggers fighting for the rebound, gets Mabry a look.
Yeah, even when she gets a look, it's got to be a little bit rushed. They're doing such a good job of contesting.
Virginia Tech now 1 of 10 from outside. Koenig, their own misfire. Mabry was going to let that go out of bounds. NC State scrapping for everything. Crutchfield nearly saved it, but
Cole single-handedly trying to keep Virginia Tech scoring on this end.
Cole will go to the line.
It's an after jet right there. That's a little change of speed, wasn't it?
Yeah, she got ahead of herself. The reverse somersault.
She grabbed another gear and went to the hole.
She does have that gear that not a lot of players can keep up with. To NC State's credit, they've been able to cut off transition. Cole 3 traditional way, and the lead cut to single digits. Dunk in from Cunane. Try to earn him at the line. He's got that horn set, Mac. Double high.
Point guard enters the ball and then back screens for Cunane, and they throw the lob over the top against the shorter Rivers.
Kenny Brooks earlier today said this will be a personnel matchups and groupings.
Cunane has been to the free throw line the second most in the ACC.
Cunane with another 2 at the line. Final 90 seconds of this opening half. You feel like, Mac, it's an imperative 90 for the underdog. Shepard can't do it with that shot.
Nice job of digging it out of there.
Crutchfield on the pull-up. Minute to play in this half.
Good possession on that end. Now can they convert on this end?
Rivers had a little space. Got a little wild. Cunane passes on the 3 this time. Excellent ball movement. The shot's not falling either way from outside.
He's got the rotation and time to contest the shot, then didn't allow the second shot.
A 6-second gap here. Game clock, shot clock. All the way around the world goes Shepard.
Yeah, nice job switching and communicating on the defensive end for State.
Shepard had the big night against the Wolfpack the first time, struggling. 1 of 6 from the field in the opening half in the rematch. Final shot coming from the Wolfpack. It'll come from Koenig, and it won't go down. NC State will be content with an 11. Both teams playing exceptionally well on the defensive end, but NC State playing at an elite level through the first 20 minutes, Matt.
Yeah, they did everything. They stayed between their man and the basket. They didn't foul and didn't allow enough second shots to hurt them, and really did a good job of finding Virginia Tech on the three-point line.
NC State had the lead as large as 12. Let's get the thoughts of head coach Wes.
Head coach leading at halftime. What'd you make of the first half?
Yeah, I mean, good effort. Defensively, obviously doing some good things. Virginia Tech's doing a good job taking us out of some of the things we want to do offensively. We need to keep attacking. We need to take care of the ball.
Well, you mentioned defensively, you held the Hokies to shooting under 20% in the first half. How do you expect to keep up that intensity in the second half?
Again, sometimes you're a little lucky, too. We got to hope, we keep doing a good job and they don't get hot because they're very capable.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Guys?
Thanks, Bailey. Thanks to Coach Moore. And as he knows, this is a Hokie team that can heat up at any time, but his Wolfpack did a nice job of making sure that didn't happen in half number one. Defensive struggle in the opening half. NC State really bottling up Virginia Tech, holding them to 20% from the field. As we welcome you back courtside, John Laser, Mac McCarthy. Virginia Tech had a lot of trouble running anything that they wanted to run. That credit to NC State.
Yeah, they just did a super job of staying between their man and the basket, not allowing penetration, other than Taj Cole, who had a little bit of success, didn't allow anything close to the basket, didn't allow any second shots. They were really solid. They held Virginia Tech to 6 for 30, and which we'll see later. And when they hold opponents under 40%, they're 18-0.
Well under 40% again. Scoring from NC State, co-leaders atop Jakia Brown-Turner, 6 points in that opening half.
Yeah, the freshman was really good on both ends of the floor. You saw her play with a lot of confidence on the offensive end, pulling up right there, and she was guarding Asia Shepherd on the other end.
Meanwhile, you mentioned Taj Cole. She leads the way for Virginia Tech with 10. You see her calling her own number a couple times, Mac. This isn't exactly option A, though, for the Hokies.
Not at all, but it's a good thing she was on the floor.
You look at the battle that we highlighted in the pregame. It has been a struggle defensively here as well. Elizabeth Kitley held to 0 of 6 and scoreless, 0 of 6 from the field. Canane, though, who averages 17 per game, got just 4.
Before, but Canane had 11 rebounds.
11-point game at the half, favoring number 7, NC State. Second half action from Blacksburg, straight ahead. Hokies well supported here as they've welcomed number 7 North Carolina State, trying to get the offense going a bit for Virginia Tech in the second half as NC State an 11-point lead here in Blacksburg. Busy night throughout the ACC. You see Duke taking care of arch rival North Carolina. Any surprises on that board to you, Matt?
Really, Duke is playing really good basketball. Georgia Tech winning on the road, maybe a little bit of a surprise, but Pittsburgh's been struggling. Syracuse winning at Boston College, probably expected. Virginia and Clemson in that kind of low-scoring battle. We saw both of them recently here at Cassell, and Clemson struggles to score, and Virginia struggled a little bit in the second half against Virginia Tech in Charlottesville.
Highlight game tonight at 8, Florida State and Louisville, along with our highlight game. Let's get the thoughts of head coach Kenny Brooks as gathered by our Bailey Engel.
I spoke with Kenny very briefly, and what he said was that NC State's just a very good team, and they've done a very good job of getting Virginia Tech out of their offense. So the simple thing he wanted to change when the second half better. Guys?
Thanks, Bailey. And yeah, the Hokies, Mac, tried to attack a lot through the post and anticipate one of those adjustments at half, trying to get Shepherd and Mabry on the dribble a little more.
They'll try to still post up Elizabeth Kitley a little bit too. Elizabeth got the ball, but she had to settle for those 5-6 footers.
Taking a look at the ACC award winners this week. Big games from Emma Guy. A couple big games from Emma. Big game for Janelle Bailey as well. Daishanette Harris from Pittsburgh picking up Freshman of the Week. Hokies not playing for awards tonight. They're trying to gain some respect within the ACC. And NC State, though, flexing their defensive muscles in that first half.
You know, we talked about NC State doing a good job of not fouling. Another thing they do night in and night out is they outscore their opponents by almost 12 points a game in the paint, and they're on track for that tonight, 14-6.
See right there, Cole trying to probe off the dribble. And doing so again, but dropping it off for Kitley. Still looking for her first field goal.
Yeah, Kitley hadn't had any of those deep paint touches that she usually gets.
Canaan didn't get it as deep there as she would have wanted either. Kitley's done a nice job on the defensive end. Canaan will take one from long range.
Yeah, and that's actually a set play where you dribble away from the ball screen, then pop out. Really nice play.
The rare max stretch 5, the unicorn that all coaches are on the lookout for.
That's right. Somebody who can score on the block and shoot the 3.
Hokies have visions of Kitley becoming that player as well. That one right through the wickets. Let's go back and look at what makes Canaan such a versatile player. You're right, Max. Set play.
Brown Turner drives it to the baseline. Kitley has to help a little bit, leaving Canaan wide open.
Canaan able to knock it down, and you might think that's an aberration. It's not. That's the 10th made three-pointer on the season for Canaan. In fact, she shoots better than 40% out beyond the arc. Crutchfield taking it in, missing the layup.
Virginia Tech has played good enough defense to be winning this basketball game. Just struggled on that end.
There's Kitley getting into the score column. Great feed from Cole.
That will help.
Wes Moore there, the top side of your picture, in the ear of Kai Crutchfield. Canaan couldn't answer what he was saying to Crutchfield, but you did all the hard work. The easy part eluded you.
Wes is quite the competitor, and his team reflects that.
Shepard still looking to find that stroke tonight. Shepard 1 of 7 from the field, as we've pointed out. 28 points the first go around.
Yeah, Canaan had 28. One thing to look for, she had 23 in the second half of that first contest.
Once again, Cole pushing the issue. And once again, NC State resisting.
Yeah, there was contact there, but it was one of those, do you call it on the offense or call it on the defense? They chose not to call it at all.
Look at that battle between Canaan and Kitley for position. Taking a breather at the moment as NC State operates 40 feet from the basket. Pick and pop and a touch foul against Rivers.
Again, nice shot fake and put it on the floor. Drive with your strong hand. Jones doing a good job right there. Rivers trying to catch up.
Impressed with this NC State offense, Mac. They hit a high volume, and Kenny Brooks is, I'm sure, as well. Hit a high volume of threes, but it's a smart shot selection as Brown Turner goes right to the
spacing and by their inside presence with Canaan in particular.
A lot of shot faking, though, you really have to respect. It's not just the automatic closeout.
Very fundamentally sound, take care of the basketball.
Cole didn't get it. Kitley had excellent position. Canaan fouled her. The first against Canaan, however, as Baptiste will check in for Shepard. Earlier we saw the Hokies back in the second quarter, Mac, go about as small as they'll go.
Now
this is as big as they will go.
Yep, this is the big lineup. Maybe that'll make a difference on the backboard.
Ball screen hedge. Rivers denied. Again, probably should have taken it up herself. Gave it up to Kitley, who was repelled that time by Canaan.
Yeah, we talked about this is going to be a battle for a long time. Canaan doing a good job of just staying straight up.
Cole with 2 on the shot clock. Big shot.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Harlem Globetrotters recruiting that play. She lost her footing, kept her dribble, got to her feet, and hit it. The shot clock expired. Kitley got Canaan once. Canaan wins round 2.
Yeah, that's the sophomore over the freshman right there, staying with it.
Lead 13. Hokies again with that big lineup on the floor. Mabry the floater. All of her points have come.
Has done a wonderful job against Mabry in Wes Moore's eyes. She cannot get anything off on the perimeter.
Jones takes it all the way to the corner.
Good switch recognition that time, and then good job not allowing NC State to get a second shot.
Cole is fouled. She'll have an opportunity at the foul line to trim the lead back into single digits.
Force the issue. Defense again at a disadvantage.
Vinny at the half.
Yeah, hadn't had any in the last 3 games.
That's remarkable. It really is. Cole for Virginia Tech.
I'm sure Wes Moore is concerned because Virginia Tech is capable of making those back-to-back-to-back threes, and here it is, a 9-point game.
That's the last thing that Coach Moore wants, is to let Virginia Tech hang around in this game. Shepard on the bench at the moment. Koenig flat on that effort. Foul away from the ball. And it's going against Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech didn't do a good job on that staggered screen right there. Didn't communicate. But they forced the missed shot and then couldn't come up with the offensive rebound or defensive rebound.
Foul was against Rivers there. You saw with the forearm. Rivers makes amends. Cole in a foot race.
She's going to win that every time.
Suddenly a 7-point game. NC State fine with this pace. Jones, a tough bucket.
Well, it's a nice crossover. Jones, the junior, you mentioned from Jamesville, North Carolina, over there east of 95.
That's a mark of a good team right there. That basket from Jones. Crowd getting into it, first time in a while. Tech trying to get on a run, and Jones, the backbreaker.
Yeah, and it was a tough shot.
Cole trying to shed Crutchfield. Draws the foul on Crutchfield instead. Cole pushing the issue for Virginia Tech as they try to press their way back into this game. Cole has been the catalyst for Virginia Tech. And off the steal by Rivers. Hokies are off to the back by 9. Hugely impactful game as it pertains to bracketology for Virginia Tech. You see Charlie Cream predicting at the moment an 8 seed in Waco. A loss to NC State would not set back Virginia Tech, Mac, but a win tonight over number 7 in the country would vault that seed.
And the problem with the loss is there's just not much room for error. Can't have that bad game and a bad loss going down the stretch. Really only one team that's highly ranked left on the schedule, and that's at Louisville. Basket.
Look at NC State, much less doubt and trying to obtain different things. A solid 2 seed, just the one loss. Still, obviously, very much as finally shot falls from outside for Mabry.
Really good execution on the baseline out of bounds play. That's a play Virginia Tech runs all the time, and I know Wes Moore will be upset that she got that off, but it was clean and pure.
And once again, the response comes from the pack. Jada Boyd, the talented freshman from Petersburg, a chance for 3, the more difficult route.
Jada Boyd has done a good job on the defensive end, too, when she's come in the game. Both inside and out, switching, talking, communicating.
Boyd answers the 3 with 3 of her own to finish that thought I was making as Mabry hit that 3. NC State competing for a different stature in the bracket. They're still very much in the conversation for a top seed now.
Yeah, no question about that. They could host quite a bit in the NCAA tournament, and now I think they really like the fact that they've got a week off. This is their bye week before they have to play Louisville too.
Mabry somehow got that through to Obofegi, couldn't score it. A lot of that for the Wolfpack will hinge on their next game. They're hosting Louisville as Kayla King called for the block. Fourth against Virginia Tech already in a more physical third quarter.
It's the right call.
Yeah, you could just see her kind of at an angle, never got in front of the offensive player. A very good officiating crew tonight, Mac. Very veteran crew.
Veteran crew, big crew for a big game.
I thought that was our motto.
Well, it is, but.
Obofegi denies Canaan twice, and Cole comes scrambling out of the pile. Koenig stays strong. Obofegi with the left.
Obofegi's family is here. They were here the last game, and they're still here for this game.
And Kenny Brooks,
she's getting some extended minutes in both opportunities.
Kenny Brooks told us, I'd like to say she played harder and more physically. That's an offensive foul. Koenig through the chicken wing there.
It's a heck of a battle. Koenig, veteran guard, senior. Cole, the grad transfer. Sure enough, pretty easy call.
And it wasn't the second one there that actually got the call. It was the first one. Kind of dove out of the picture. A couple of veteran guards going at each other. Mabry, quick release. Boyd flies in for NC State.
Pretty good execution, but again, a little bit of pressure to rush that shot.
See the adjustments, though, from Virginia Tech. Jones cleaned up by Obofegi.
Doing a good job in here in substitution for Kitley. Kitley ready to come back in.
Mabry plays primarily off the ball now, but you could see there, comfortable with it as well. Last year, she was the primary point. For Tech, Shepard is in the line of the pass. Obofegi got it.
She's had herself 3 or 4 really good possessions on both ends.
Hokies are coming to life offensively here, Matt. Couple it with some stops.
And it's been mostly off penetration, too.
Crowd getting involved. And Obofegi, another strong rebound. Tech can make it a one-possession game here. Lead has been as many as 13 in this second half.
And
Mabry, hesitation dribble, and a good foul committed by Brown Turner. That was going to be an immediate deuce. Mabry smiling because she got her with the sucker punch.
Yeah, she had her beat. Little change of speeds by Mabry this time.
Right.
Hesitation, bang.
So both teams being the bonus for the final minute 20 of this third quarter. Mabry having a big quarter.
NC State, Virginia Tech led big most of the game. Got away at the end. Could this one be the reverse of that?
Turnabout fair play potentially in the run back. Cole nearly got that one. And now she's up in the face of Koenig as she deflected that pass. I wouldn't say NC State is rattled, Mac, but Virginia Tech has them back on their heels a little bit. Koenig took the long stride and traveled.
You don't expect Koenig to be rattled at all, but she's made a couple errors here on the offensive end. and they have been due to pressure by Taj Cole.
Cole, whether that pressure be physical or mental. Shepard. Whistle comes across the floor. Wes Moore is not amused.
No, he disagrees. Take a look. Had the ball at the top, but came on over the arm.
That's one coach's perspective.
There you go.
It's like when I used to drop off box scores in baseball. One manager. Clearly, it's a play this way. They go to the other clubhouse. Have you ever watched a game before? Clearly.
More importantly, it was one official's perspective.
We still don't. 1-point game. We got in the battle now we expected. Canane on the back cut.
Good execution again.
And again, NC State reminders as to why they've only been defeated once on the year.
They have a lot of ways to beat you.
A lot of ways to respond as well. Cole couldn't finish. NC State looks to finish off the quarter. Crutchfield is fouled and it'll fall.
Oh, what a big, good possible 5-point turnaround. A missed layup on one end, a made layup with the foul on the other.
Crutchfield did take it right to the basket, as we'll see here. That is clearly a foul on Mabry with the hatchet motion, but there is nearly 15 seconds, I'll say, in the quarter, but nonetheless, an impressive stance from NC State in a quarter otherwise dominated by the Hokies. And Crutchfield gets full freight. So back to a 6-point game and a rapid 5-0 sprint for the Wolfpack.
Got to think Cole's going to be involved with this off some penetration. Where Shepard's awfully good off penetration too, one-on-one.
Shepard's been shut down tonight. And that's where we'll stand after 3 quarters. Number 7 being tested in the 3rd quarter, but making the final statement. Virginia Tech at a 3-point disadvantage as Taja Cole attacks. NC State takes advantage, Mac.
Yeah, that's a quick turnaround right there. You missed a pretty open layup on one end. They get the layup and the foul on the other. 5-point swing, and that's a big difference. If you look at that whole quarter, Lays, the Hokies scored 22 after scoring 17 in the first half. If you remember, against Virginia, they scored 18 in the first half and then 51 in the second half. They're capable of doing this, but this is against an awfully high caliber competition.
Look at the 3-point field goal numbers there. Both shooting teams not tonight. Tech just 20%, NC State 23%. Both teams with just 3 makes. There may be a big shot or 2 required to win this game in the final quarter. Boyd going right to the bucket. Foul comes along with it.
They've done that a couple times, and again, 4 around 1 opens up a lane for the strong side post to drive it. And they've had this a couple times. Boyd with a really nice play right here. Freshman out of Petersburg, Virginia.
Class 1 Player of the Year in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Top 35 recruit. You can see why. Just like that, it's again a 9-point.
He's been their top sub all year, even with all that experience over there on the bench. She's the one they go to first and gets the majority of the minutes outside of the starters.
Cole lost it off her foot. And you can see, Mac, how demoralizing a stretch like this can be when you're a team that's behind and you spend the entire 3rd quarter trying to dig out of that 11-point hole. You do it, and then bang, you're right back in it.
You see it in all sports. You play uphill all that time and then don't have anything left to finish. We'll see if the Hokies can change that around.
They come running off the miss from Cassell. Mabry on the crossover. Couldn't dial in the English. Obofegi has played well tonight.
Sure has. kept it alive right there. I think Kitley is staying on the bench until Canaan comes back in. But Obofegi has really played well in that third quarter.
Step back from Mabry. Had to have it.
Crowder, she can just back up. She does have great range.
9 in the second half for Mabry. And Shepard trying to fight through that DHO, commits the foul. Check that foul against NC State on that DHO. The Hokies will take it back. To emphasize that point about Obofegi, the Hokies are right now a +5 with her on the floor for the night and a -10 with Kitley on the floor. Startling numbers.
Obofegi has really done a good job, and you see why Kenny Brooks was talking so glowingly about her.
Cole drops right back over the right shoulder.
She's very good with that left hand. That time couldn't finish, though.
Koenig could not find Cassell.
Cole has been a thorn in Koenig's side here on the defensive end. She really gets after. Just one big growth from Taj Cole from the beginning of the year till now is how she gets after it on the defensive end.
Kenny Brooks told us down in Puerto Rico had benched her for the third and fourth quarter, or half the third and the fourth against Rice. It was a tough game, but said we learned some things about each other and we're on the same. Fouled by Hunter.
The driving has also created a few opportunities for Virginia Tech at the free throw line.
Cole has done the most damage there, 6 of 7 from the foul line. And already the second foul of the final quarter against the Wolfpack. Mabry couldn't quite get through that screen from Rivers.
Physical game. A lot of contact through that screen for the offense and the defense.
Cole from the elbow. Rivers couldn't get it. Rivers still battling, and she'll go to the line. 3 offensive rebounds for Lydia Rivers on 1 possession.
The grad transfer from Radford averaged a double-double for the Highlanders last year over there. Chose to finish up her career here out of Kinston, North Carolina.
Rivers looking for her first points tonight. Free throw is off the mark. Hokies 10 of 12 from the foul line.
She's probably exhausted after that exchange right there.
I'm exhausted just describing it. Missed them both. You look at moments like that and hope they don't come back to haunt you later. Koenig caught in between. Justice prevails.
Wow. Everybody was pointing that out.
Mabry. Cole scrapping, but Koenig comes out of the fray. Turner. Neither team making shots, Mac, that they'll
Had some
make all night
opportunities.
long. Mabry has certainly been in a much more aggressive state of mind in this second half.
It's in self-defense because they've been pretty aggressive on her. Outstanding defense.
Rivers. Obofegi forces Canaan to knock it out of bounds. That's not the shot from Rivers, not to accentuate it, but that's not what Virginia Tech is looking for.
No. Baptiste, more of an offensive threat back in for Rivers. Koenig did a better job. They ran that same play that Mabry got a 3 earlier in the other corner.
Koenig right there with a hand. 5 to shoot. 3 to shoot. floater short this time, and it'll be a shot clock violation. Excellent defense, back-to-back possessions from NC State.
That's been the consistent thing throughout the game. Good defense by NC State.
And they hold opponents to just 54.5 points per game. Kind of on the track we're heading at the moment. Three from Koenig, and she was fouled by Cole.
Cole thought she got away with that one. Just at the last minute, looked like she touched her on the wrist.
It's Koenig, member of the Canadian national team, won bronze a couple of years ago at the FIBA Under-19 World Cup. And Koenig, too strong. Third year as a seasoning with your team.
And she's done a little bit of everything. I think really she's a shooting guard, but certainly a more than capable point guard. Really understands the game, and she has been a defensive beast tonight too.
In the shadow for Mabry, she has 8 points to go along with it. On Mabry. Baptiste working in the post and scoring to the middle.
That's what she brings to the table. Can score a lot of different ways.
Koenig. Canane is fouled by Obo Fegi, and that's 3. Canane will get a pair, and as you mentioned a little bit ago, foul shots becoming more of a factor in this game.
Fegi was straight up until the last minute, just took a little swipe at that ball. If you bring those arms down, they're going to get you.
Get Obo Fegi there. And Canane. An 8-point spread, 5 minutes to play here. NC State trying to create a big showdown with Louisville coming up. Virginia Tech still trying to make their statement. Shepard. Jones, big 3.
Have they answered every single time?
Yeah, it seems that way. And again, that is a mark of a seasoned but ultimately talented team. Baptiste is the clock starting to become a factor.
Baptiste and Shepard are 2 of the players for Virginia Tech who can create their own offense. And they seem to be stepping up here toward the end. But Virginia Tech's got to continue to play good defense, too.
Road gets no easier for Virginia Tech as Obo Fegi once again fouls Canane. And again, problem for Tech there was the depth of the entry pass for NC State. Kayla Jones making it a 9-point lead. Getting this one from deep for NC State. Wolfpack trying to hold off Virginia Tech. Wolfpack trying to hold off the Hokies. They've gotten Canane going in the second half.
She's had to work. In the end, 13 points and 16 rebounds, despite going 4 for 15 from the field.
9 of those points in the second half. She'll be at the foul line when we resume for a pair. We go over to Bailey Engel.
Well, when we talked to Coach Wes Moore yesterday, he kind of foreshadowed what was going to happen in this game. We brought up the fact that Virginia Tech has only beaten NC State 1 time in history, and that's where he stopped me. He said the key word there was history. He said each time the Hokies hanging within single digits this entire second half for the most part, it's been the exact battle he predicted.
Yeah, thanks, Bailey. Coach Moore went on to talk about the things that worried him about Virginia Tech, and he kind of listed off every player and said, well, she can hurt you this way, she can hurt you that way. And a little coy with that because his defense has certainly taken away some of those weapons for Tech tonight.
They have for sure.
8-point game and no Rivers draws the foul against Canane.
Yeah, I think Virginia Tech's best bet is to still attack off the dribble, whether it's to create something back on the perimeter or to try to draw the foul or get a high percentage shot.
Canane, her third personal. And again, this deep in the game, not as big an issue. Rivers just missed a pair on the last trip, gets the first to go.
Can't be many empty trips for Virginia Tech now offensively either.
Particularly with the Wolfpack's proclivity for responding to any made buckets. Rivers has missed 3 of 4. 7-point game, 3.5 to play. Kayla Jones deciding which route to take. Crutchfield is fouled by Mabry. And this will put NC State in the bonus. Both teams, in fact, will be in the bonus the rest of the way here in the final quarter.
Baptiste took the drive away that time from Kayla Jones, but Crutchfield had a little bit of advantage and gets to go to the free throw line where she shoots 71%.
Got the first. Crutchfield, somewhat of a quiet night. She has 6 points.
After
7 points for Crutchfield. If NC State prevails here and hold a 9-point lead, the defensive end is where the credit will go. Mabry trying to take it right at Crutchfield. Turnabout fair play. She draws the foul and will head to the line herself.
But again, the thing about driving, we mentioned high percentage shots, getting to the free throw line, but also the fact that you keep stopping the clock.
So they called that foul on Canane, so that's 4 against Elisa Canane.
Might see history here if she gets another foul.
Mabry gets them both. Been somewhat amazing tonight, Mac. The Wolfpack have kind of taken Elizabeth Kitley completely out of the game in the second half. And here's a whistle and a foul against Taj Cole. That is an unpopular call here in Blacksburg. Koenig waiting to shoot 2.
Not a lot there.
Got the multiple touches, I guess.
There were. There was contact.
Koenig and NC State in control. They seemed that way, Mac, all throughout the night except for that brief stretch in the third quarter when the Hokies closed to 1 and NC State kind of calmly and casually stretched the lead back out.
Yeah, they had a few unforced turnovers, made a few mistakes defensively during that one little stretch, but that's been it. Other than that, they have appeared to be in control of this game.
Crutchfield now commits a lighter foul, and Mabry goes back to the line. The Hokies right now not in a position where they can afford to just trade foul shots while the clock slowly diminishes. The Hokies trying to get over a hump of sorts here tonight.
Yeah, only one game that was really in doubt at the end, and even that game was close for the most part at Florida State.
Hokies have had some close calls this year. Certainly had their share of close calls a year ago. See the close margin losses. That Syracuse loss, despite beating Miami after it, still sticks in their craw a bit, as does that road loss at Cameron Indoor. And got Rivers in the air. They're not going to count that bucket for Canane. But Canane does go back to the foul line, and she has been a force in this second half.
She really worked hard to get that deep post position. Rivers thought that she initiated the contact on the post up, but clearly on the shot, Rivers committed the foul.
The lead is again double digits for NC State. Not quite desperation time, Mac, but right on the fringes of it for Virginia Tech.
Yep, going to have to score. Going to have to look for some threes here down the stretch.
Give it to Shepard, right back to Cole. Baptiste will take it. NC State will take it away.
Yeah. That's what NC State wanted on that defensive possession.
And now, because NC State can take this all the way under 2 minutes, you are officially in that desperate category. Brown Turner scores off the block.
How good is the freshman?
It's the only player on the roster they list as a wing. Everybody else is a guard or a forward.
And she is. She is a wing.
6-foot wing. Hokies respond to that bucket and take a timeout. But again, beyond the point where they can trade buckets. Tech down 10 to NC State and needing something miraculous. NC State with a 10-point lead and the ball under 2 minutes. At this particular moment are not looking ahead, but should they hold off Virginia Tech here, the second those sneakers step off the hardwood, they'll be beginning preparations, Mac, for number 5 Louisville.
Yeah, they've got that bye coming up and a week to prepare for Louisville at home. You see 4 out of those next 5 games at home. That is very favorable. And partner, did this look like a team that could make a deep run in the NCAA tournament to you?
Absolutely. Defense leads the way in March, as you know, and this is by far and away the best defensive team that I've seen live this year, NC State.
And they've got depth. They've got shooting shots from the perimeter.
Crutchfield just threw a forearm at Mabry.
Sure did.
Didn't call that, and Crutchfield makes it a 12-point game. That'll be the last full possession that Virginia Tech can defend. NC State in firm control as we close in on a minute to play. Shepard finally gets one from the outside, and Kenny Brooks immediately takes the timeout. It's a single-digit affair, but just 1:01 remaining as Kenny draws it up. Kenny Brooks called that timeout off the Asia Shepard made three-pointer. Now the Hokies swarming, and once NC State advances into the front court, they will foul. As I mentioned, they no longer have the luxury of defending possessions.
Yeah, with that three-point shot, clearly can stop the clock multiple times. Still mathematically in this thing.
Fouled the right shooter, at least statistically. Jakia Brown-Turner, 61%. And does misfire on the first. This is an average free throw shooting NC State team. They're not poor by any means, 70% on the year. 1 of 2 will suffice at the moment. Tech will need a volume of big shots like Shepard just hit.
Westmore coaching right to the end. A little offense, defense.
Koenig forces cannot score, gets it back. Some contact. NC State pulls it out of there. And Mabry will foul one more time before Virginia Tech raises the white flag. Kenny Brooks, again, his team was very excited, very confident in the level of play that they had been showcasing of late, and certainly, I think, right on the verge, Mac, of taking that next step, beating some teams like NC State in the cream of the crop. But tonight, to NC State's credit, they kind of turned some of the things that Virginia Tech does well against them, namely just smother.
Shepard and Dara Mabry.
And
Cole
Kitley
still had some opportunities. Yeah, and took away Elizabeth Kitley down inside. Virginia Tech still did one thing they've been doing lately, and that's playing pretty darn good, especially here at home on the defensive end. But NC State was just too good on the defensive end tonight for the Hokies.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's important to note. NC State, should they win this game, and it appears that they will, is Cole able to score off the baseline. Another timeout taken. Should they prevail here, the Wolfpack, they won this game. This isn't a game where Kenny Brooks will look back and be upset about his team's performance, particularly on the defensive end. He'll be upset that they don't win the game, but NC State, to your point, just out-executed in some of the smaller areas tonight.
Yeah, they really did, and we didn't see the battle develop a lot down low because NC State did such a good job against Kitley. Virginia Tech did a pretty good job against Canaan, but she still had an impact in other ways and kept after it until she finally got the points and the rebounds. Yet another double-double for the sophomore.
16 and 16 for Canaan. Take a look at the road ahead for Virginia Tech. They travel to North Carolina. Quick turnaround. The Tar Heels, the lone team to get the best of Tech, beat North Carolina here earlier this year in Blacksburg. But you see 3 of the next 4 on the road for the Hokies, and that stretch of games, Mac, might well determine whether Virginia Tech is firmly in the tournament or still fighting for their life over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, all certainly winnable games, but competitive games, and then they'll finish with Duke at home here in the last game before the ACC tournament.
And Brooks, again, I think will draw up the play following the foul and foul shots that are coming here. Hokies probably no longer in a position even to look for the easy 2. Remaining in the game.
Yeah, this is still good coaching time for both ends. You've got to do things in special situations, late game situations, drawing up something that you'd like to use later on to see how it works.
NC State is able to advance the ball, and they get it into Canaan, and she is quickly shoved and fouled. And Canaan, well, big smile. You saw that big smile right there. Should be hashtag hard work, because she has certainly exerted some physical effort tonight.
And she still does continue to smile through all of it, too.
Yes, she does.
Somebody said that was something that Debbie Antonelli talked to her about. I can see that happening.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Be a little more fierce. And now some issue in terms of getting a sub on the floor for Virginia Tech. Mabry fouling out of the game, so Mabry replaced by Rivers. Makes the first free throw. Well, Mabry, I thought, played very well in the second half of this game. 15 points for Virginia Tech, second leading scorer. And got the backbreaker there as the Hokies will no longer foul. NC State cannot take it all the way down. And an 11-second differential. Not sure whether that was an intentional given foul or not.
Yeah, maybe.
Now Rivers has fouled out. You talked a lot about the battle coming in, and certainly Elisa Canaan got the best of it here tonight. 17 points. Kitley played very good defense in the opening quarter, but kind of a relegated non-factor in the second half.
Yeah, and part of that was due to Obafegi playing so well in the second half. She stayed on the floor for extended minutes because she was doing a good job on both ends of the floor.
Yes, she was. Jones, a couple more for good measure. Cole. And off that miss, NC State will be able to dribble it out. Albeit in a bit shaky fashion, the Wolfpack come into a difficult place to win. State has still fallen just once on the season. They improved to 22-1 and set up a 1-2 showdown with Louisville in their next outing. Mac, again, the Wolfpack is a little too good tonight for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, we saw a team that could very well go deep in the NCAA tournament, a team that expects to go deep in the NCAA tournament, and we saw a lot of those weapons and why they expect to do that here tonight.
Coach Wes Moore was trying to that could not. Bailey.
Coach, you guys held off a late charge by the Hokies there in the third quarter. How are you guys able to pull away?
You know, I don't know. Yeah, again, I thought we did a really good job defensively, but so did Virginia Tech. We hit some free throws down the stretch, but yeah, I'm proud of us. We took pretty good care of the basketball, and again, they made a great run at us, and we were able to hold on.
How does it feel to be 22-1?
Feels good, you know, but we can't be the same team in March that we are right now. We got to keep getting better, keep cleaning things up. I know they're going to get better. You know, Kenny does a great job, so I know they're going to be better. We got to keep working and making sure.
Guys,
22-1, but hungry for more for Wes Moore and the Wolfpack. They prevail in Blacksburg tonight. They hold off Virginia Tech in the second half. For Mac McCarthy, I'm John Laser saying so long from Cassell Coliseum. Again, the Wolfpack win tonight 71-59. To watch the entire game on replay, as well as other games on ECC Network, download the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN Sports.